Hello, hello. This is Chiara here, your host, and in this episode, we will be talking about the difference between being responsible and being reactive. What happens to our body when we react to a situation rather than respond? It's very simple. A specific area of our brain is activated, which is called the reptilian brain. Now, the reptilian brain is formed by the stem brain and the cerebellum, and it's the most primitive, the most ancient part of our brain. And it is called reptilian because it is common in all reptiles. Now, what does this part of our brain regulate? Very, very basic functions such as our breathing, our heartbeats, the blood pressure, and so on. So basically, the reptilian brain makes sure that we survive. Indeed, when this part of our brain is activated, we tend to live in a survive mode. And as a result of our action, we can either fight, flight, or freeze. So let's give you an example. So for instance, if I found myself face to face with a lion, of course, that is a threat that is perceived as a dangerous situation. So what my reptilian brain will say me, it's, hey, Chiara, look, pay attention. There's a lion over there. So that is a threat for my survival. So my reaction will be driven by my instinct of survival. And of course, as a reaction, as a result, I have three options basically. So I decide to fight the lion, to flight, so to run away, or to freeze. Hopefully, the last option would be any helpful. But anyway, those are the three options we usually have. Now, here is the tricky part. Our ancient brain, our reptilian brain, does not recognize the difference between an actual danger, like a lion, and a perceived danger. What is a perceived danger? For instance, all the things we hear from the news, all the thoughts we have, like, oh, will I make it? All the stories we make up in our mind that feed our fear and our anxiety. Actually, the actions driven by the survival mode are based on our fear. They're not actions that we do according to our values and to our consciousness. So another important point that happens when this reptilian brain is activated is that all our focus is on ourselves. So we tend to believe in the fact that we live in an I world. So the primary thought is, how will I survive? How will I make it out of this situation? And also the result of our action is very short term. Now, this actually is pretty intuitive and makes sense because if I'm really facing a lion, I don't want to stay there and, wait and think. I just want to act, just to protect myself, just to save myself. So my action will be very short term, of course. And also all my focus will be on myself. So I will find all my resources to, and I will put in practice all my resources in order to save my life. Okay? Now, this happens, of course, if there's a lion in front of me. This also happens, as I said before, when we are in a perceived dangerous situation. And of course, when we act so, that we don't recognize that our action has an impact on other people, right? So does it sound any familiar to you about all the COVID-19 emergency? When we act following our instinct without thinking about the fact that we live in a community and there are other people around us, right? Now, what happens when actually we respond rather than react? Responsibility is a Latin word, and it actually means being able to respond, response able. Now, when we act with responsibility, we actually take an intention. We actually take a conscious-based choice. A person who acts with responsibility knows that the thoughts, emotions, and actions are correlated. And each action has got a result, has got an impact on others in a direct or indirect way. So the person who acts with responsibility knows that he lives in a us world rather than a I world. Is conscious of the fact that we live in a community. And when I say community, I'm just not talking about the family or, the neighbors. No, when I say community, I mean the world. And we are all correlated. We are all one. And this is, I guess, one of the most precious lessons we can learn from this COVID-19 situation. Moreover, who acts with responsibility, as a result, the results of his actions are mid-long term. So they are more projected into the future, and also is aware of the consequences that his action has got on the external world. A person who acts with responsibility acts according to his values and to his consciousness. It does not act according to his fear and, at the end of the day, survival instinct. So, for instance, think about when you are having a discussion with your partner or with a friend of yours or with a colleague, and you react rather than respond to the situation. So you may say something that hurts the other person. So think about the consequences that can have on the relationship. Now, you might say, oh, well, but it's their fault. I mean, it's the reason why I reacted in this way, it's because he made me react in this way. So it's not my responsibility. No, absolutely not. This is a victim type of thinking. The way you react or respond, it's still your responsibility. So don't let the emotions control you, but rather control your emotions, because it's still your responsibility about how you want to react or respond. Now, how do you do that? How do you shift from being reactive to being responsible? So, first of all, stop and breathe. Because when you breathe, the message you send to your brain is, it's okay, you're safe, there is nothing to worry about. This is the message we send to our brain when we take long, deep breaths. Step number 2 is be aware of what is going on in your body. Be aware of what feelings and emotions are coming up for you. Where do you feel those emotions? Do you feel them in your chest? In your stomach? Or maybe in your arms and hands? Then the third step is asking to yourself, am I really in danger? And of course, if you are facing a lion, yes, you are in danger, and maybe you don't have all this time to think about all those things. But if you are having a discussion with your partner, or if you are listening to the news that are triggering you, really ask yourself, are you really in danger? And then, last but not least, what is in your control? Again, don't let the emotions control you, because it's your responsibility to control your emotions and how you react or respond to a specific situation. And remember that when you react, you give away your power. And when you respond, you take your power back. And it's always your choice. All right, this is Chiara. I'm signing off. Share this video with your friends, with your family. Please click the like button for me. Subscribe to YouTube channel if you haven't done so. And I am available for a 90 minutes free coaching session with whoever wants to connect with me. I am more than happy. And see you in the next video. Ciao.